Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kristen Burnell. Dozens of students were transported by ambulance and 2 were arrested during the annual Blarney Blowout weekend at UMass Amherst. Western Mass News reporter Maria Wilson is live in Amherst with the details. Maria?
Kristen, it's an early St. Patrick's Day celebration, and we're told that excessive drinking has left dozens of students needing medical attention. Blarney Blowout is known as one of the university's largest party weekends. According to the Amherst Fire Department, they handled 28 requests for ambulance transports, which prompted additional resources. A spokesperson from the University of Massachusetts Amherst tells Western Mass News in a statement in part, quote, students gathered in a number of locations in town and joint planning minimized large-scale disturbances. Amherst police and UMass police reported 2 arrests for underage possession of alcohol and responded to numerous calls for service. We also witnessed a large police presence from a number of neighboring communities such as Northampton, Chicopee, East Hampton, and also Mass State Police. We spoke with several UMass students who tell us they've noticed a large police presence today compared to years past.
I saw plenty of cops. It was very hectic. This whole street was basically booked up with students and faculty, and cops were everywhere.
Lambert and others tell us they're glad to see extra law enforcement who they say are just trying to keep them and others safe. And in addition to police officers, we also witnessed several fire engines and ambulances on scene earlier today. For now, reporting live in Amherst, Maria Wilson, Western Mass News.